I know that you saw this title or this thumbnail and you got excited because patches, right? Pirates, always fun. So I'll show you how to play patches or how I play patches. There, I could have taken Getawigs here. It was a pretty good lobby, also elementals being in. But we all know patches are a lot more fun. And I think it's actually decent in a no-mech lobby as well, because shields counter it pretty hard. So we found Pirate on 1, usually I just buy it, and if it's a swabby I hold it in hand. Turn 2 we just level play, so we discount our Tavern tier. But turn 1, if I don't have a Pirate, I hero power. I think I always buy a Pirate or hero power if I don't find it, because that way, well, tokens don't actually matter that much, because if you find at least one Pirate, we can always buy hero power or hero power buy on turn 3. I found a pair on swabby here, and oddly enough, I find a triple on it. So at this point I can just level and take the triple and take a 4-drop, which was my plan, but this cat emoted me, and emoting in Battlegrounds is like a sign language. They're like waving at me, so I'm a bit confused. I want to take a 4-drop, and then I see the most crazy thing. This guy goes to tier 4. Like, this is a cat, and they go 4 on 4, meaning they don't have a board. They have an empty board, because there's no other ways you can ever be tier 4 if you don't have a hero power. So I decide to, well, join him. I just leave the triple in hand, and I'm gonna go for a 5-drop next turn, so I make this play. Now, this is the big difference between, like, high-level lobbies and low-level lobbies, I think, and players. So, short disclaimer, I should have played this elemental and the pirate here to do some damage to the cat, but I wanted to be kind and help him out, because I think it's kind of funny that this guy went to tier 4 so early. Is that we know how to scout opponents and when to greed. This is like, if you see a Janus take early triples against someone who power levels, that's usually a bad player, because they think they need to hit 3 drops to just be strong against someone who power levels, right? And then you have Januses that can greed for 5 drops and know how to read opponents. So be careful when going for triples. You can greed sometimes. So now we're tier 4 on turn 5 with a pretty shitty 5-drop. Like, we got a Master of Reality, so it doesn't matter. But as you'll see, we win this fight. So we win against someone against full HP while being able to power level and keep up our momentum. So now we are on tier 4 as patches. It's gonna be very promising. Because tier 4 has Peggy. Peggy is my favorite, like, I think a lot of people's favorite unit for a very good reason. It's amazing. So let's try and find it. And there it is. We also found a Domo, and we do still have the Master of Reality. So we have the potential and the possibility to go elementals if I want to pivot. But, you know, I'm patches. Do I really want to go elementals? I don't know, but I do like keeping my options open. But we have Peggy and Salty Luther, so it's not very likely. Although I did decide to sell my Gambler here for the Domo, just in case I will like double Domo and Cyclone. And then maybe I'm a hybrid, like I'm Elemental Pirates. That is, I guess, a possibility, because with Hoggar we could have infinite goals, so we could technically cycle infinite elementals as well. A lot of ideas in my brain, but we find double Gambler and Arm here. And, you know, that's just amazing. We have a free hero power. Press it first. We could triple Gambler, but we could also hit a second Salty Looter, so we would miss out on buffs. And yeah, another Arm. We're just cooking, right? This is going great. Now, of course, you're not going to always high roll with patches like this, but I don't even know if this was necessarily a high roll. We kind of set up for this by buying the early pirates. Another reason that I hero power on turn 1 instead of buy a token is because that you have an extra pirate on the board, so your odds of tripling increases, right? Like, if you hero power almost every turn or as much as possible, you keep on adding 1 and 2 drop pirates to your board or hand, so the odds of finding an early triple is a lot higher, and I think that's very valuable when playing patches, of course, because you want to hit the Hoggar or the early Peggies or whatever. So this was a strong turn. You'll see in a second when he faces Reno. He got like 3 triples into 4 drops. I don't know what he's doing. He has a full goal on board, but he's super weak. I don't understand what this guy is doing. He's very dead. Yeah. That's also another upside of pirates. If you spike really, really hard, it can deal a lot of damage to people. So obviously, that's great. Now, another key thing of pirates is that you can hit captain early, which is the main reason why this is kind of viable. We didn't even hit a captain, so the treachery on tier 2, I mean. If you hit that early, you have a pretty strong board and you shouldn't lose any fights. Now, we never hit that, but we had the privilege of leveling to tier 4 together with the cat and hit the early triple instead. So you want to somehow be able to convert your hero power and your pirates into a lot of tempo and capitalize on that. We leveled to 5 here because at this point, we're just hard looking for Hoggar, right? We're just on Hoggar and there's a second looter. I just want to buy strong shit. I could stay on tier 4, like pirates can stay on tier 4 and skill with Peggies and stuff like that, but obviously we can use this momentum that we've gained to go for the hogger. Now, I don't know if I put it in the title, I probably did, or the thumbnail. There's no hogger this game. We're playing pirates without hogger. We actually low rolled really hard after this triple. Like, we high rolled the early game, the triple into trash. That was not really a high roll, but it was enough tempo, and we were able to power level, and we hit early Peggy, but that's it. Besides that, we never found a hogger, and simply enough, like, this is the cat, by the way. That's why I included this fight as well. This is the cat who power level with us. They were spanking people, dealing a lot of damage to others, because, well, they were smart about it. So don't be scared to take power levels. Don't be scared to emote to players, because if this cat didn't emote, I would have taken a 4-drop and it would have been dead by now. But because they emoted, I saved and I was able to greed, and they're alive. So use emotes properly and you can end up like this cat, just high rolling. They triple into a zap, which is very unfortunate, so I don't think they'll live much longer, but at least they went for it. We hit the triple onto Peggy, into Elizas, and I mean, that's it, right? We know we have a good game if you have an Elizas on the board as Patches and with a golden Peggy. Now, Peggy is such an amazing card. It allows actually scaling without a hogger. Of course, hogger would be amazing. That's a traditional scaling, like a lot of money cycling and buffing looters. Now, hogger with Peggy also has synergies, but you don't even need it, because Peggy doesn't just work with buying pirates, but you can even buy stuff like Elementals or Murazons or other things that adds more cards in hand, and it's gonna result in buffs from the Peggy. Or even the coin guy that I have on the board, it gives me a coin every turn, which also gives buffs for Peggy. I'm rolling a lot of gamblers as well, and we hit Tony. My goal is to goal in this Elizas, so I'm messing with my positioning a bit, putting in the Scallywag, and hoping that we can triple this Elizas. Now, this Xyrella is absolutely insane. There's no max in lobby, but it's still, the thing that counts is the most is Divine Shields. This guy is a massive Golden Cyclone, or a normal Cyclone. I have no taunt, so I take 20 damage here. Kind of painful, so I feel like we will need to play around that a bit later on. I just cycle pirates. I do patches things, even though without hogger, it's like I don't take every pirate, as you'll see, because, well, they're not quite as valuable without hogger. I rather just find the good pirates or good cards. Do find a triple. Hopefully we can find like a second Elizas. That's pretty much the only thing for me on tier 6 at this point, because amalgadons are not fixable. Now, I found trash. Zap might be a good counter, but no, I don't really need Zap against anyone in the lobby. There's no beast and no max. I could have taken a pirate here, but that's rather greedy, so I went with the seafood slinger, trying to rediscover an Elizas next turn. Possibly. I can't keep a noisy looter on the board for 2 turns. I think I'll die, so instead I'm just trying to get stronger here and still trying to get that golden Elizas with a Stony in the back. He plays Zap, which is kind of good for me actually. He pops my Scallywag for me, and this Adora is insanely strong. Let's be real, they don't have Nadina luckily, so as long as they don't have shields, we should outstat that. We do get the golden Elizas as well from the Tony. We got pretty lucky. So if our golden Elizas, we're able to kill this guy before they found Nadina, because somehow, without hogger, we can outstat Caligos boards, which is amazing. Phase it goes, so this turn we can do some shenanigans. I found a golden arm. There's also a Murloc in the shop, a token Murloc, which is perfect for the seafood slinger to discover another 6-drop. So I just end up buying the pirates here, then seeing what the triple has to offer. Again, like the only 6-drop, maybe Zap is useful. I guess there's no Myxna, so we can't even go for Reborn Myxna. Amalgadon we could maybe high roll, but I guess more Elizas is the better, because we're not an APM comp yet. We do have some good set of pirates, but we can still make use of Elizas at this point. I just took the Nosy here. Again, Zap seems really useless against these opponents, so Nosy at least a pirate that buffs the Salty Looter as well if I play it on the board. And I'm rolling for maybe some late game stuff. It's a top 5. I feel like 1 or 2 people might die here, so poison could end up being good, like the spore. Selfless could end up being useful. Like pirates need selfless heroes in the end, maybe even ghoul. Like essentially we have stats, and same as my last video, which was demons, we need to tech well against opponents, because big stats is amazing early mid game, but can be played around easily late game. So that's my goal. Right now, because we're up against the ghost, I'm still playing rather greedy. I played a taunt because I don't want my Elizas getting sniped and accidentally losing to this ghost. We're top 4. Ghoul, is amazing. Like, it's a no-mech lobby, but we know that people have been playing elementals, so Cyclone still wrecks me. It's also a taunt, so I can get rid of this stupid 4-5 in the back and still have a taunt on the board. I'm gonna speed this up, and I'm gonna read a comment from one of the previous videos. We have Master J132. How do you decide when to level to 6? Often see myself still on 5 at the end of a game. It really depends on the tribes and what you need against your final opponents, right? Like, if there's Beast in lobby, you can level for Max now if you need more poison. Or if you're playing... Well, if you have a brand on the board, then you could level a lot earlier to try and find amalgadons. It depends on your position. If you're strong, you can level to try and hit the amalgadons on 6. If you're weak, you usually stay on tier 5 for the rest of the game, and you only level if you need something specific. Like Zep as well. Zep is one of those cards that you level for, or you try and find triples for, but generally leveling is better. So if you're facing a ghost in a top 3 scenario, if you're really strong, or if you're looking for specific units by just checking what's on the tier that you need to beat your opponent, that's when you level. Now, there's plenty of games where you don't have to level at all because you're strong and you can just... Well, you have a bunch of triples into 6 shops anyway and stuff like that. So don't get too baited. You don't always have to level. Be smart about it. That's the best advice you can give, because it really depends from game to game to game. Anyway, we're up against an Akazamzarak who had 9 triples. I'm gonna speed up this again because I'm just cycling pirates and just trying to get a bit bigger, and trying to find, well, some tech units. So I'm gonna end up buying the Selfless. I feel like Selfless is stronger than Scallywag here. I need to all in. This guy seems like a monster. Somehow 9 triples and killing people left and right. I don't know what they're doing because they're not Akazamzarak. Like, so I'm just playing the Selfless. I'm all in and I'm trying to beat this guy so that way it's top 2 and I can close out this game. But what the fuck? Just look at this. Just how? What? I don't understand. So, okay, we're facing someone who has like 12 amalgadons, I think. Or more, 13 amalgadons. No matter what you play, you lose here. So hope you enjoyed this pirate game. We almost got our first without using Hoggar and playing pirates. But this is it. This is just bullshit. And I have no words. Oh yeah, and he has a splitting image, so he's gonna get another amalgadon. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the video and like. Sorry that I had to end like this, but I mean, yeah, 42 damage. What am I supposed to do here? Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.